Jesus said, "Man cannot live on bread alone, but from every word that proceeds from the mouth of God." You're listening to Daily Truth.
The easiest way to theologically deal with this, to avoid the pitfalls of legalism, and to stay firm and stable within the gospel of free grace, is to simply say that the holiness in reference here is positional holiness. Justification which comes by grace alone, through faith alone, in Christ alone. So it would read like this: strive for peace with everyone and for the holiness belonging to justification which comes fully in a moment by grace through faith alone. And with that, therefore, of course, anyone who has that justification, anyone, in other words, who is saved, will go to heaven and see the Lord. I don't believe that that's what the author has in view. I don't. That's the easiest way theologically to deal with the text, but I don't believe that the easiest way in this particular instance is the right and accurate way to deal with the text. I believe that what the author has in mind is not positional righteousness akin to justification, but rather progressive righteousness akin to sanctification. So, strive for peace with everyone, and the progressive righteousness that comes over time belonging to sanctification as we seek further and further to obey the Lord through faith. And without that, no one will see the Lord. And you might say, well, wait a second. If that's the case, then some people who have been justified may not see the Lord. And that causes a whole host of theological problems. That causes, in a very real sense, the entire Christian doctrine and systematic theology, the whole Christian faith, to implode upon itself. No, it doesn't. Because biblically, there is not one person who has ever been justified who will not also be sanctified to some degree in this life. I'll make an argument from the greater to the lesser. The thief on the cross, he didn't have much time to be sanctified. Sanctification doesn't happen positionally in a moment, but rather progressively over time as a process. And yet, what does Jesus say to him? He says, "Truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." And you might say, well, okay, that's because he was justified. That's because he believed. Justification comes through faith, and we see this man's faith. But I see the justification, Pastor Joel, with the thief on the cross, but show me the sanctification. I'll show you the sanctification with the little bit of Christian life that he lives, from the moment of faith to the moment of his death. It could have just been a mere matter of hours, perhaps even minutes. And yet, what does he do with that time? He silences a heretic, a blasphemer, an accuser of the Lord, and he professes, or we might say confesses, his faith in the Christ.